welcome to another one of our videos. Today I'm going to be hardwiring the dash cam in my 2011 Ford F-150 Raptor. This process should apply for any of the same generation F-150 or Raptor vehicles, anything from 2010 to 2014 or so. And basically I'm just going to go through the general process of my methodology for how I hardwire a dash cam and then show you specific to the truck exactly how I go through it. So as far as methodology goes, most of the dash cams that I run happen to use a mini USB connection instead of micro, but a lot of dash cams out there use micro. So to kind of future-proof every which way, I hardwire via micro USB using a little adapter kit here. So that's going to be the first thing you're going to need. I'll have links to all of this stuff in the video description below. But I use a little USB adapter kit, takes 12 volts in and basically outputs USB 5 volt. And then I use a micro to mini adapter for my specific dash cams. That way, anytime in the future I need to replace the dash cam, and if it happens that micros are way more prevalent at that point, I'm covered. So those are the first two steps. I generally use an Adafuse to wire to input 12 volt power into one of these. We'll see what works out with the Raptor. I don't know if I'm going to end up using Adafuse like that, or if I'm going to end up using taps somewhere or what, but that remains to be seen. So if I need an Adafuse, that'll be an additional part that you need. On top of that, what I normally do is hide this down in the kick panel or wherever the fuse box is, so the little power adapter is as far away as possible from the windshield, doesn't get hit with direct sunlight. I've done the other way around where it is in the windshield type of area, and these things have swollen and started having issues and become intermittent. So if you hide this down low, like in your dash, exposed to air conditioning and everything in your vehicle, you should be good to go. So doing that, you need an extension to go from this to your actual camera. And what I normally do is run one of these three cables here. So I have a little 6-foot micro USB to micro USB, female to male, 10-foot flat one, which is nice for some certain runs, having the flat cable. And then every once in a while I need a super long USB cable extension. And this has been the best one that I've found. It's a little braided micro USB to micro USB cable. So with that said, that's kind of the general methodology, and then after this cable it just plugs directly into the dash cam. That's the general method that we're going to follow. So now let's go out to the truck and take a look and see what the situation is in there and kind of move forward from there. Alrighty, so I'm here in the truck now, and I'm in the passenger side kick panel. Now, behind this panel here is where the interior fuse box is, and I think that's going to be where I end up running the dash cam power down into. So to get in here, you should just be able to pull that loose and pop it loose, just like that. And from there, you have a little cover here that you can pinch, pull off, and voila, there's your fuse box in there. So your fuses and everything should be in here. I'm going to get some better lighting so you can actually see what's going on once I get in here and see what's going on, and then we'll go from there and figure out if this is the best place to tap in a fuse, and if so, what we're going to use to do that, or if there's somewhere better. So we'll be right back with that. Alrighty, so you can see inside the fuse panel now. I have a flashlight focused on it for you. And I've taken a minute to check everything out, and I think the fuse I'm going to tap into is the yellow one. Oh man, if only you could see the yellow 20 amp one right about there. That is the one for the radio. It's fuse 29. At least that's what the fuse map points to on my truck. And I'm guessing that's going to be switched power. So what I'm going to do is pull that fuse out. I'm going to stick a multimeter in there, make sure that there is indeed switched power to that fuse, and that it's not delayed switched or anything like that. I just want it to be normal switched on and off and everything. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and, if all that works, proceed with a fuse tap on there, assuming it all fits. This fuse box, the way the cover is constructed, is a little small, so form factor wise I may have to do a little bit of playing around and finagling, but we will see what happens and go from there. I've determined with a little bit of probing and testing with key on and off and everything that the best place to put the Adafuse for this circuit, and the safest place to put it, is right where you see it, which is fuse slot number 35, I believe. It's for the heated seats. It's a 10 amp fuse from the factory. I've kind of test fit the ADA circuit in here. It should be a perfect area to put it, and it actually will be able to come out of the fuse box cover really well with just a little bit of modification. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the cover over to my workbench and show you some of the modifications going to be required in order to make everything fit and work. It's very minor. It's a little bit of filing and trimming, but we'll show that off on the workbench so you can actually see everything that's going on. Alright, so now that we're on the workbench, we can show a little bit better what's going on with the fuse cover. So I've started a little bit of filing here. basically this area right here is directly adjacent to where the wire comes out from the fuse tap. So whenever the fuse tap's inserted, the wire basically is going to come out right there and right on that little bit of heat shrink that's on the wire right there. So I've kind of pushed this onto the wire just a little bit to make an impression on the heat shrink, just so I can kind of understand exactly where it's hitting and make sure that whenever I'm test fitting on the workbench, I'm test fitting in the right spot before I go back to the truck. But at the very least, I need to take a file and file this open vertically in this area, which you can see, hopefully, I've widened it a little bit already down here versus up here. I need to do that, I know that for sure, and I need to take a little bit more material off there. What I may also need to do is file inwards, so coming in from the side and coming in towards this direction in order to accommodate for the overlap. This lip right here overlaps a corresponding lip on the fuse box, and basically the wire has to kind of go up and over the one in the fuse box and will get pinched by this right here. So whether or not opening this relief up is enough to allow the wire to come out, I'm not 100% sure yet, but at the very least, or at the worst case scenario, we need to open this up vertically a little bit and then take a little bit of material off, like right in here, and we should be good to go from that point. So I'm going to go ahead and file away until I know I have something that fits. I'll circle back and let you know exactly what worked out, and we'll go and proceed from that point. Well, after a decent amount of filing, I have this thing pretty much ready to go. You can see how much I had to open up the side here, and you can actually see vertically how much I had to open it up as well. So I not only had to widen the slot here from this point over, but I actually took a tiny bit of material off of here just through filing. I didn't really need to, but that just happened, and I cleaned it up a little bit. But I brought the surface right here, which used to sit right about there, down about 1/8 of an inch or so. And for reference, basically you can see this little jog in the material here. I brought that jog and clearanced that out down to the surface right here of the inside surface of the cover. So with that set up like that, fuse sits in the fuse holder and the cover will clip around it and everything's nice and happy. So now that that's taken care of, I'm able to actually go ahead and throw this into the truck and throw the cover back on. All of my work inside the fuse box should be done at this point, and I can go ahead and move on to the rest of the wiring now, which is going to be through the headliner, the A-pillar, all of that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and chart some stuff out as far as the USB extension and all of that goes, and we'll move forward from there. So I apologize for the mess that I have going on up here, but I've finally got everything kind of sorted out in my head, and I think everything now should be plug and play. So I'll show you the wire routing that I did in the truck in a second, but before I do that, I want to show you all of the under dash stuff, because I kind of went piece by piece. Obviously we started with the fuse holder and figuring out the cover fitment situation, and I've gone piece by piece since then, figuring out the wiring coming from the camera and figuring out the wiring that's going to go in the kick panel, and all of that is sorted now. So basically what we ended up with is this wiring harness. I ended up using the fuse tap. As you know, this is the exact one that I used, just in case you want to replicate this exactly. You can just get them at AutoZone or O'Reilly's. But basically, the way I built this harness, we have our USB right here that goes to the camera, or rather goes to the extension cable, and then I cut most of the length off of this little power adapter here and wired it up to the ATA circuit, which is your positive, and then created a little ground wire here and put that all together into a harness. Now, the ring terminal on the ground is going to go to a screw that I'm putting through a free hole in the dash support. So the dash support is basically part of the chassis of the vehicle. It's a great ground point because it's raw steel. It's generally not coated on most vehicles, actually. And appropriately sized ring terminal for number 10 screw goes right on there. And I'm creating a ground stud out of this because I have one nut attaching the screw to the dash bar, the dash support, and then I'm able to slip a ring terminal over that. It's fixed in place at that point, and I can take a nut, nylock or otherwise, and tighten that down on the ring terminal, and voila, there you go. You have a little ground point. The reason I'm doing it that way is because with the ground stud, I'm going to be able to add any additional accessories that I ever want to in the future. So, you know, for example, if you wanted to add a radar detector, or if you wanted to add any other 12-volt accessories that are going to wire up internally to the vehicle and they're going to be fairly low power usage, like a radar detector, like a dash cam, you can do that through that type of stud. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the truck and show you the wiring from the camera, show you the kick panel area and the wiring in there, as well as how that stud is located, and basically how this little harness here that I've made is going to lay into place. So I'm going to go over to the truck and we're going to reconvene at that point. Alright, so first things first in the truck, and that's the camera. Ignore how the wiring's hanging down here. I just need to tuck it further up into the headliner, but I haven't yet because I just didn't want to do anything while I'm still working on it as far as finalizing the wiring up here goes. But it'll all tuck in nicely, just come right down to the camera, no problem at all. So from there, we come around the A-pillar, as I typically do with a lot of my wiring. We come down the A-pillar door seal, and then we basically cross over in here through this kick panel. This thing just pulls towards the camera and pops off. And then all the wiring and the fuse box and everything is located kind of behind this kick panel where that other panel popped off. So I'm going to go ahead and relocate the camera down below the dash and change all the settings so you can see in the dark and show you the rest of everything else going on down there. Here we are at the dash now, and you can see the fuse box here. First thing I want to point out is the ground point that I put in. That's right up here on this little tab. It's not used for anything on my truck as far as I can tell. At least it hasn't been used since I bought the truck, so I'm going to go ahead and use that for the ground point. Now, under here, you can see our USB extension cable. I kind of zip tied it to one of these guys up here. You can just kind of see that point right there. Just did that for a little bit of strain relief, and so it doesn't rattle around on the kick panel here. So basically our wiring in the kick panel there is done. All that we have left to do is put in the wiring harness, attach it to the fuse box and ground, put the fuse box cover back on, zip tie everything up, and then we're done. So basically our harness, the one that I made up, we're going to have this plug into the fuse box. This ground point is going to kind of run up and around and up to the ground point under the dash that I put in. And then fuse box cover is going to go back on, zip ties are going to go in to tie all the excess cable up, and we are going to be ready to rock and roll, good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that off camera so I can get the camera out of my way and work, because it does take up a lot of room in the floorboard. And then I'm going to show you the finished product. Alrighty, so here's the finished product. Now, just to walk you through everything that's here, now that everything's done up, one thing I want to point out is, let me get this wire out of the way for you. Right here on the fuse box, you can see I put the fuse puller. The fuse puller doesn't clear the out-of-fuse, so I ended up using a sticky back zip tie holder, stuck it to the outside of the fuse box. Fuse maps in the owner's manual, so as long as you keep that in the truck, you're good to go as far as knowing what fuses are what. And then put the fuse puller in a little zip tie and kind of clipped it in there in such a way that it won't come loose, won't rattle around or anything like that, but that you can still take it out without having any cutters or anything, so you can still do roadside service on your truck. Otherwise, you can see the bundle of USB goodness here with the power supply and everything for the dash cam. That's all bundled up, the excess wire and everything, so that's what that looks like in the end. And you can see the ground wire running up here. I kind of just zip tied to the bundle for strain relief, and it ties in right up there. So that's about all there is to this. One thing I may end up doing is wrapping this in felt, depending on whether or not it rattles against the panel that goes right here. But other than that, I think we're pretty much good to go and done. And the panel that we took off closes up this area like so. Make sure you get the tabs up in front in place. And then as long as nothing's in the way in the back, you can just press it in place, and that's all secured. And everything looks like factory from in here, including up here, other than that little tiny wire that you see running into there. So very minimally invasive. I'm going to go ahead and put the floor mat back. One thing I didn't mention in the beginning, you need to pull the floor mat out to get this panel out. I'm going to go ahead and put the floor mat back and then show you the dash cam fire up whenever I fire up the truck. I'm in the truck now. Going to go ahead and put my key in the ignition, turn it to on, and the climate control fires up and everything, and so does the camera. Easy peasy. Hard wiring done. Heated seats don't come on whenever the key's just on. They only come on whenever the truck starts. I thought that they were an ignition thing, but I guess they aren't. I did test that beforehand though, and they still do work. It's just the truck has to be fired up for it. So anyway, install done. Just got to tuck up the wires and put away all of my stuff that I got out for it. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section below, and I'm happy to answer them as I can. And with that, I want to thank you all for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. Take care.